In this video, we're going to look at the workflow migration options when using MetaLogic's Essentials for Office 365. So first, let's consider workflow analysis. So how can we discover where the workflows are on our environment prior to migrating them? So there's two ways really we can go about doing this. The first is to use a pre-migration analysis report, which we looked at in an earlier section. So we select the site we want to analyze, click SharePoint migration analysis and click finish, and that will produce a report. Now I've run a report already on this site, the engineering site, which sits inside the Contoso site collection. And if I go across to the workflow report tab, that will show me the location of any workflows on that site and the nature of those workflows. So I have an approval workflow I've set up on that site already. That's highlighted here. So the other way we can surface workflows is if we go to the library. So for example, here I'm going to the engineering site and the library, which I've called approval workflow for this example, a bit of a giveaway. But if I right click on there and go down to objects and go to show workflows, that will show me a list of workflows that are on that list. So there's the workflow again. I've called it approval workflow from there. So the simplest way to copy a workflow is to display the list as I've just shown. So it goes to Objects, Show Workflows, and then right click on the workflow you want to copy, choose Copy, and then go down to the target location. I'm working within the same tenant here, but tenant to tenant or on-premises to Office 365 works in the same way. Right click on the library and then choose Paste. And from there, when we choose Finish, that will copy the workflow to the target. The second way we can copy workflows is we can take the whole library. So if I right click and copy on this library and go down again into the target location, right click and choose Paste. When that wizard initiates, one of the options we have here under list copy options is to copy workflow. So when we check that, it will copy the list and the associated workflows with it to the target site. So the third option is if you're copying an entire site. So if I right click there and choose to copy a site, and I go down into my target location, go paste, and I'm going to choose paste or copy to a new site. You'll see again within the wizard under the list options, list copy options here, we have the option to copy workflows. So that will copy the lists and the workflows as well. So those are the three options you have to migrate workflows. So in terms of the types of workflows that are supported, the out-of-the-box workflows are supported, SharePoint Designer workflows are generally supported, and Nintex workflows are also supported. Now, in terms of Nintex workflows, there are a few caveats that we need to observe before we copy a Nintex workflow, and they're described quite nicely in the user manual. So if I navigate to manual.metalogics.com and search for Nintex, there we go. You see the first result there, Nintex workflow migration. The important caveats are described here. So it's good to reference these, and I'll also discuss them here. So in order to migrate a Nintex workflow solution must be installed, configured, and working in the target destination. So that must be installed and working prior to you migrating a Nintex workflow, or it won't work correctly. The other thing to note is an in-progress workflow, and this is the same for SharePoint Designer or out of the box. That's not currently supported. So if a workflow is midway through and you choose to migrate a library containing that workflow, the in-progress workflow won't be migrated. Equally, the workflow history and some metadata are also not currently supported. So these are things to be aware of when you're migrating workflows. So that, in summary, is how to discover workflows and the three methods you can use to migrate them from a source environment to a target environment.